data. So the codebook works as a guiding principle for you to analyze your data. It's similar to when you do surveys, you need to have a questionnaire. So the questionnaire, which question to ask and how to ask and how people answer. Do they use a Likert scale or do they use specific multiple choice or single choice questions? So these are something we need to think before we do the analysis. So also we have some reference if your research topic has been done by some researchers in your past literatures. You can of course borrow their code book. So for this one, because we came to the data with some questions like which company is doing what kind of games. So for sure we are gonna find out what are the gaming companies. And then as you can see here, we did something else. What kind of games each company represented, what kind of games they have. So you also want to know what kind of games there are currently in the market. So there is some knowledge of the market. And then we also want to know the topics. As we asked in the very beginning, what do people talk about in the industry now? So there are some topics: co-branding, official competition, you might know plagiarism, scandal happened to some games. And then some of them set up overseas office, so they went abroad for international market, and they have new introduction of some new characters, and there's some artistic stuff for some games using hand painting, or they sometimes host esports events. So these are some topics people talk about on the social network. And last, we have gaming type. So what kind of games are they? Are they role play? Are they MOPA? MOPA means a multiplayer online battle arena. And are they shooting or strategic games or leisure games? So there's a categorization of different games. So this code book, we spent quite some time in coming up with this, and how we designed on the platform is using it as a questionnaire. So that's why when you start to create a category, you click create a question. So the title, it means what kind of category are you using? So if you want to analyze, like for this one, gaming type, then you put gaming type here. And then you also want to know if this question is being answered as a single choice. Are they mutually exclusive? For example, a game can be role play, or it can be at the same time leisure games. So they do not mutually exclude each other. In that case, it's not single choice. In that case, it's multiple choice. But if your answers are mutually exclusive, of course, you use single choice. For example, gaming companies. If this game belongs to Mihayo, it cannot be belonging to Tencent Games, right? So this is mutually exclusive. In that case, you use single choice. And required, it means when you do the manual coding, do we have to fill this question? Or, for example, this data has no answer for this question, then we can skip. So this process is for you to set in later on in the coding process. Is it required to give an answer or is not required? So some data, for example, they are advertisements, so you cannot have an answer. So we click as not required. Then options, or we see answers for the questions. So here, role play would be an option. And then a very important thing here is keywords. So what is it? Let's see an example here. For example, Mihayo. Mihayo has a name in Chinese, Mihayo, or English, Mihoyo. And there are many other ways of mentioning this game. So for example, there is a full name of this company, or represented by its games, most popular games, Genshin Impact, or similar things like this. So this, how it works is we use keywords to trigger the system to analyze the data. So in this way, those keywords, if they are all talking about Mihayo, you use them as keywords here. So here you always need to fine tune your keywords. And we have two logic and or. It means, as the name implies, and when two things are being mentioned at the same time, the system can identify this content as being triggered. And if you use or, it means either A or B is mentioned, the content will be displayed. So it's easy to understand. Now let's end this codebook section. You can also later on see this summary of your category here.